Most passengers think boarding is just about finding your seat, but I've watched enough flights to know this. The first few minutes after boarding quietly decide how the entire flight will feel, especially for older travelers. I've seen calm, confident passengers arrive refreshed, while others arrive stiff, stressed, and exhausted, even though they flew the same plane. The difference is not the seat, it's not luck, it's what they do immediately after boarding, before the door closes. Airlines never explain this part, nobody announces it, but experienced travelers know it. Today, I'm sharing 13 things older travelers should always do right after boarding the plane, starting with the least obvious and ending with the most important. These are small habits, but they protect comfort, dignity, and peace of mind. If you travel even a few times a year, these habits change everything. Let's begin. 13. Settle mentally before the door closes. Many passengers sit down, but their mind is still rushing through the airport. They're thinking about security, lines, boarding order, or whether they packed correctly. I see this all the time. Their body is in the seat, but their shoulders stay tense and their breathing stays shallow. Older travelers benefit greatly from mentally settling before the aircraft door closes. Once that door shuts, movement becomes limited. Getting comfortable later becomes harder. I once sat next to an older man who kept standing up and sitting down even after boarding finished. When the door closed, he whispered, "Now I feel stuck." He wasn't stuck, he simply never slowed down earlier. Taking a moment to breathe, look around, and accept that you are safely on board tells your nervous system to relax. That calm carries through the entire flight. This is not about fear, it is about control. When your mind settles early, your body follows, and the flight feels shorter, quieter, and far less tiring overall. 12. Take a sip of water early. Cabin air begins drying your body almost immediately, even before the plane moves. Most passengers wait for drink service, which can be delayed or skipped entirely. I've watched older travelers complain of headaches or fatigue halfway through short flights, only to realize they never drank anything after boarding. Taking a sip of water early helps your body adjust to the cabin environment. It supports circulation, blood pressure, and overall comfort. You do not need a full bottle or anything complicated. Just a few sips are enough to send the right signal to your body. I always take a sip as soon as I sit down. I've noticed flight attendants do the same whenever they have time. That small habit matters. Dehydration often shows up quietly as stiffness, dry mouth, or dizziness later in the flight. Starting hydration early prevents that chain reaction. This is especially helpful for older travelers whose bodies respond more strongly to dry air. One small sip now saves discomfort later, and it costs nothing but awareness and a few seconds of attention. 11. Silence notifications, not just ring volume. Many passengers turn their phone volume down and assume they are done, but vibration alerts, buzzing sounds, and constant notifications keep the body slightly tense without realizing it. I've watched this happen repeatedly. An older woman once sat beside me, checking her phone every time it vibrated. She looked calm, but her shoulders never relaxed. After she silenced everything, she leaned back and said, "I didn't realize how stressful that was." Airplanes already overload the senses with noise, movement, and unfamiliar sounds. Adding constant phone alerts keeps your nervous system alert when it does not need to be. Silencing notifications right after boarding creates a quieter mental space. This helps your breathing slow and your muscles relax naturally. You are not missing anything important while the plane is climbing. Messages will still be there later. Experienced travelers know this. They reduce unnecessary stimulation early so the rest of the flight feels smoother. Calm inputs create calm reactions. That small adjustment improves comfort more than people expect. 10. Confirm your bag is properly stowed. Overhead bins are opened, closed, and rearranged multiple times after boarding. Bags shift more than people realize. I have personally seen heavy suitcases fall straight down when a bin was opened mid-flight. One missed a passenger's head by inches. That could have caused serious injury. Right after boarding, look up and confirm your bag is secure. Wheels should face inward if possible, and nothing heavy should be loose. If something looks unstable, ask for help immediately. Flight attendants would much rather fix it early than deal with an accident later. Older travelers are more vulnerable to head and shoulder injuries from falling objects. A few seconds of checking prevents risk for the entire flight. I once watched an older woman calmly ask for help repositioning her bag. Another passenger rolled their eyes. Later, that same passenger's bag slid forward when the bin opened. Awareness always wins over embarrassment. This is not about being cautious, it is about protecting yourself quietly and confidently before problems appear. 9. Stretch ankles and calves while seated. Long periods of sitting affect circulation, especially for older travelers. Simple ankle and calf movements right after boarding help your body prepare. You do not need dramatic stretching or attention-drawing exercises. Gentle ankle circles and slow foot movements are enough. I often notice experienced flyers doing this quietly while others are still settling in. They understand that circulation starts before takeoff, not hours later. I once asked an older traveler why he always moved his ankles early. He said, "It keeps my legs from feeling heavy later." He was right. Starting movement early reduces stiffness, swelling, and discomfort as the flight continues. Waiting until you feel uncomfortable means the problem has already started. This habit is especially helpful on longer flights, but matters even on short ones. It is easy, private, and effective. No one notices, but your body does. A few seconds of movement now creates comfort later, helping you arrive feeling lighter, steadier, and more relaxed when you stand up after landing. 8. Organize the seat pocket or avoid it entirely. Seat pockets cause more forgotten items than almost any other part of the plane. I have seen glasses, phones, and documents left behind because passengers stuffed too many things into that pocket. Older travelers should decide early how to use it. Either place one clear item there or avoid it completely. Overfilled pockets hide objects, especially during quick exits. I once watched an older man search frantically for his reading glasses after landing. He had placed them loosely in the seat pocket during boarding and forgot about them. He only found them after the plane emptied. That stress was avoidable. Decide immediately what belongs there. Keep it simple. If you do use the pocket, check it deliberately before landing. Many experienced travelers avoid seat pockets entirely for this reason. They keep essentials in one controlled location. Organization reduces stress, especially when exiting quickly. This small decision early in the flight prevents panic later. Less clutter equals fewer mistakes, and fewer mistakes mean calmer travel from start to finish. If these habits feel helpful, subscribe to FlySmart. We focus on calm, practical travel tips that airlines never clearly explain. 7. Set air vents early. Air vents affect comfort far more than most passengers realize. Many people ignore them until they feel too cold, too dry, or uncomfortable. Setting the vent early prevents that. Direct airflow gently toward your chest, not your face. This helps avoid dry eyes, irritated throat, and chills during climbing. I have watched passengers repeatedly adjust vents mid-flight, distracted and uncomfortable. Doing it early avoids that frustration. Flight attendants adjust their vents immediately after boarding whenever possible. That habit exists for a reason. Cabin air conditions change quickly after takeoff. Older travelers are more sensitive to temperature shifts in dry air. Setting the vent early helps your body adapt gradually instead of reacting later. This is not about blasting cold air. It is about gentle circulation. Once you find a comfortable position, leave it alone. That consistency helps your body relax. Small comfort adjustments made early create smoother flights. It is one of those quiet habits experienced travelers never explain, but always use. 6. Sanitize armrests and tray table. Planes are cleaned quickly between flights, not deeply. I have watched cleaning crews work. They move fast because time is limited. Armrests and tray tables are touched by hundreds of hands every day. A quick wipe right after boarding reduces exposure to germs and sticky residue. This matters especially for older travelers with sensitive skin or weaker immune systems. I once watched an older couple calmly wipe their armrests while boarding finished. Another passenger laughed quietly. 2 hours later, that same passenger asked them for a wipe. Small precautions often look unnecessary until they aren't. Sanitizing early also keeps your hands cleaner when handling snacks, medication, or glasses later. It takes less than 30 seconds and prevents discomfort for the rest of the flight. This habit is not about fear, it is about hygiene and comfort. Experienced travelers know the difference. Taking control of your immediate space helps you relax. When your area feels clean, your mind feels calmer, and the flight becomes easier to tolerate from start to finish. 5. Look at the nearest exit card. You do not need to memorize the safety card, you simply need to orient yourself. Knowing where exits are reduces anxiety, even if nothing happens. I've watched nervous flyers visibly relax after glancing at the exit locations. Awareness gives the body a sense of control. Older travelers often feel more comfortable when they understand their surroundings. This quick glance provides that reassurance. I once sat next to a woman who was clearly anxious. After she looked at the safety card, her breathing slowed and her hands relaxed. She told me later that knowing where the exits were made her feel safer. This habit takes seconds and costs nothing. You are not expecting trouble, you're simply informing your mind. When the mind feels informed, the body follows. Airlines repeat safety announcements, but many people tune them out. Doing this early on your own terms works better. Calm comes from understanding. This small action helps your body settle into the flight and stay relaxed for the duration, especially during turbulence or unexpected delays. 4. Adjust the headrest before takeoff. Many airplane headrests move, fold, or slide, but passengers ignore them. Older travelers often complain of neck pain later without realizing the problem started during boarding. Adjusting the headrest early supports your neck before muscles tighten. I once helped an older woman adjust her headrest shortly after boarding. Halfway through the flight, she smiled and said, "This is the first time my neck doesn't hurt." That small adjustment changed her entire experience. Waiting until discomfort appears makes it harder to fix. Early adjustment allows your body to settle naturally. Look at how the headrest moves and test it gently. It should support your head without pushing it forward. Once set, leave it alone. This reduces strain during takeoff and turbulence. Neck discomfort often spreads into shoulders and back, making the flight feel longer. Preventing it early is easier than fixing it later. Experienced travelers do this automatically. It is a quiet habit with big comfort benefits, especially for longer flights or sensitive necks. 3. Place one essential item under the seat. Older travelers should decide immediately which one item must stay within reach. Medication, glasses, phone, or documents belong under the seat in front of you, not in the overhead bin. I have seen turbulence make overhead access impossible for long periods. Passengers panic when they realize essential items are out of reach. Decide early and avoid that stress. I once watched an older man repeatedly ask when he could stand because his medication was in the overhead bin. The seatbelt sign stayed on longer than expected. That anxiety was avoidable. Keeping essentials close gives peace of mind. Do not overload the underseat area. One clearly chosen item is enough. Organization reduces worry. Experienced travelers plan access before they need it. This habit protects comfort and dignity. You should never feel helpless because something important is out of reach. When essentials are nearby, you relax. Relaxed passengers handle delays, turbulence, and unexpected situations better. This is a simple decision that prevents unnecessary stress throughout the flight. 2. Check the seatbelt length immediately. Seatbelt comfort matters, and there is no reason to struggle silently. Older travelers should check the seatbelt length immediately after sitting. If you need an extender, ask quietly before taxi. Flight attendants prefer early requests. Waiting until the plane is moving creates stress and embarrassment that no one needs. I have watched passengers struggle discreetly, hoping no one notices. That discomfort affects the entire flight. One older traveler once told me he waited too long to ask and spent the whole flight tense. There was no need. Comfort is not weakness, it is preparation. Asking early is easier and more discreet. Flight attendants handle these requests professionally every day. This habit protects dignity and physical comfort. A properly fitted seatbelt allows you to relax fully, especially during turbulence. It also prevents unnecessary pressure on hips and abdomen. There is nothing wrong with needing extra length. Experienced travelers know that comfort improves safety and calm. Checking early removes one more distraction and allows you to focus on enjoying the flight instead of enduring it. Pause before sitting. This is the most important habit of all. Rushing into the seat causes twisted knees, missed seatbelts, dropped items, and unnecessary strain. The plane is not moving yet. You have time. I have watched experienced older travelers pause, breathe, and then sit carefully. They look calm and confident. Others rush, fumble, and start the flight stressed. That first movement sets the tone. I once watched an older woman rush into her seat, twist awkwardly, and spend the rest of the flight uncomfortable. On the next flight, she slowed down, paused, and smiled afterward. She said, "That felt better already." Pausing before sitting allows you to position yourself correctly and notice what needs adjusting. It reduces strain on joints and muscles. This habit alone prevents many small injuries. Calm movements create calm flights. When you start gently, everything else flows better. This pause is not about being slow, it is about being deliberate. That one moment of awareness improves the entire journey and helps you arrive feeling steady, relaxed, and in control. For smarter, calmer travel every time you fly, subscribe to FlySmart. Travel prepared, travel relaxed, and enjoy the journey again. Click any of these videos, and I'll see you in a moment.